Take a good look at this image. Forget the $100 million checks, the custom-tailored suits, and the Rolls Royces parked outside for a second. Look at the eyes of the man, sitting on the floor, with his shin bones snapped in half. This wasn't just a bad night at the office. This was the exact moment a religion died. Welcome to Fallen Fighters. Today, we're breaking down the most spectacular collapse in sports history. The brutal fight that ended Conor McGregor's career. We're going way deeper than just the injury. We're talking about the ego that got too big for the room. The yes men who refused to tell him the truth, and the moment he simply stopped evolving. How did the guy who used to predict his knockouts with surgical precision end up as a man screaming at his opponent's wife from the dirt of the octagon? Was it really that one kick against Dustin Poirier that finished him? Or was Conor's career already over years before his leg actually gave out? To find the answer, we have to go back to the very beginning, to a place where hunger was the only thing on the menu. To understand why Conor McGregor fell so hard, you have to understand the fuel that launched him into the stratosphere. Conor wasn't just a guy who liked to fight. He was a man driven by a deep, almost pathological fear of being ordinary. He grew up in Crumlin, a tough working class part of Dublin. It's the kind of place where you either work a trade for 40 years or you find a way out. Conor saw the life ahead of him, the 9-to-5 grind, the grey skies, the struggle to pay rent, and he absolutely hated it. He was working as a plumber's apprentice, waking up in the freezing Irish rain, and he felt like he was suffocating. He wasn't just training at the gym to win trophies, he was training to escape a life he couldn't stand. His Royal success was built on a foundation of absolute, almost fanatical belief. This was the era of the law of attraction. Conor wasn't just sparring, he was manifesting. He told Dee Devlin, the woman who stood by him when he was living on social welfare, that he would be a millionaire. He would tell anyone who would listen that he was the greatest, even when he had nothing. Back then, his biggest weapon wasn't his left hand, it was his curiosity. He was a student. He was the first guy to really bring movement culture into the UFC. He was studying Ido Portal, practicing balance and looking at fighting as an art form. Rather than a brawl, he was dangerous because he was humble enough to learn. But here's the thing about fighting to escape poverty. It gives you a why that is impossible to replicate. Once you've escaped, once you're rich, and once everyone is telling you that you're a god, that why starts to disappear. Conor conquered the world because he was disciplined. But eventually, he would be eaten alive by his own myth. Fast forward to 2016. Conor McGregor is standing in the middle of Madison Square Garden with 2 UFC belts on his shoulders. He is the king of New York, the king of MMA, and arguably the biggest star in the world. But right here, at the absolute peak, the poison of success began to do its work. When you get that famous, your circle changes. The people who used to keep it real with you, suddenly they're all on your payroll. Instead of coaches who would push him, he had a team of people who just wanted to be near the fame. Conor stopped being a student and started being a celebrity. He began to believe his own hype. He wasn't analysing his opponents anymore. He was just expecting them to fall because he was the notorious. He convinced himself he could walk into a boxing ring and beat Floyd, Mayweather, and yeah, he made $100 million from that fight, but he lost his identity. He spent more time promoting proper number, 12 whiskey, than he did in the wrestling room, while he was partying on yachts and making headlines for all the wrong reasons. The rest of the lightweight division was evolving. Khabib was evolving, Poirier was evolving, the sport was evolving, but Conor was still trying to play the same game he played in 2015. He was stuck in a time capsule of his own greatness. Let's get into the actual fighting, because the cage never lies. Why did Conor stop winning? In his early days, Conor was a karate-based sniper. Light on his feet, moving in and out like a ghost, baiting people into that legendary left hand. But after the Mayweather fight, his entire style changed. He started standing heavy on his front leg, like a traditional boxer in MMA. That is a death sentence. When he faced Dustin Poirier for the second time in January 2021, the world expected a repeat, but Dustin wasn't that scared kid anymore. He was a veteran. Dustin used a weapon Conor wasn't prepared for, the calf kick. By the end of the first round, Conor's lead leg was dead. He couldn't move, he couldn't find his range, and for the first time, he was stopped. But the real decline was mental. Before the third fight, Conor tried to bring back the dark persona. He was screaming, threatening, making it personal, but it felt fake, like he was playing a character of his younger self. You can't fake hunger when your stomach is full. July 10th, 2021, Las Vegas. This was the moment of truth. From the second the bell rang, Conor looked different. He wasn't calm, he wasn't precise, he was fighting with panic. And then it happened. A step back, an awkward landing, and a sound no fighter ever wants to hear. A sickening crack. His tibia and fibula had snapped as he sat on the canvas, still shouting, still defiant. It felt like we were watching more than an injury. It felt like the end of an era. Since that night, we haven't seen him back in the cage. We see the celebrity, we see the businessman, we see the personality, but the warrior who changed the world feels further away than ever. So what is the legacy of Conor McGregor? He is a pioneer. He changed the sport. He reshaped fighter pay. He proved belief could become reality, but he's also a warning, because in fighting, your biggest opponent is often the version of yourself that once made you great. So now the question remains, did that night end everything, or will Conor McGregor always be remembered as the man who changed the game? Let me know what you think. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to like and subscribe to Fallen Fighters. Thanks for watching.